Post office to veteran: get your poppies off our property or we're calling the p.olice. In the summer of 1958, as Joe Jakus recalled, he was 19 and patrolling the Mediterranean Sea on a Navy mission supporting the American military intervention in Lebanon. But Jakus found making it into those tension-filled waters 60 years ago easier than making it onto the sidewalk outside the post office on Jefferson Road in Henrietta, NY, the other day. All he wanted to do was distribute poppies in observance of Memorial Day to post office patrons and collect donations for his Veterans of Foreign Wars post, like he's done for nearly 30 years in the days leading up to the holiday. Update: American flag stolen from Henrietta post office to protest poppy policy as Jakus prepared his folding table and inventory of 6,000 poppies, though, the post office's plant manager told him to leave, citing a United States Postal Service policy against soliciting on post office property. The Postal Service was cracking down on poppies. "I've never been more humiliated in my life," said Jakus, 79. He said, "If I don't fold up my table, the police would haul me away." Ironically, Jakus had set up in front of a bronze plaque on the exterior of the post office commemorating the first Memorial Day in 1868, then called Decoration Day, which was set aside for the purpose of strewing with flowers the graves of the war dead. The Jefferson Road post office is named for Theodore Matthew Gland, a U.S. Army specialist from Rochester who died in Afghanistan in 2012. More, Memorial Day: don't wait for someone else to serve more. On Memorial Day, remember those who didn't make it home. #Today the red poppy traces its origin as an international symbol of fallen soldiers to the World War I, when fighting raged in Western Europe, where scarlet corn poppies grow wild and sprang up over the buried bodies. Veterans groups in allied nations from that war have distributed artificial poppies almost ever since to remember the dead and raise money for their causes. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, for instance, coordinated its first poppy campaign in 1922, and patented its familiar buddy poppy design 2 years later. The American Legion has its own version of the flower. In the days before Veterans Day and Memorial Day, veterans across the country scatter around their communities offering poppies to passers-by who may leave a donation. Because of their foot traffic, post offices have been a favorite locale of veterans, including the VFW Rice-Holic Post No. 5465 in Henrietta, where Jakus is about to embark on his 13th tour as post commander. The Postal Service has had a long-standing rule on the books barring the soliciting of alms and contributions on post office property. The same regulation prohibits electioneering and commercial advertising. Post offices around the country have clamped down on veterans' poppy campaigns elsewhere over the years, but around here have quietly ignored the regulation until now. "This policy was not properly enforced previously," said Karen Mazurkovich, the Postal Service's Western New York spokeswoman. "Though there are many worthy organizations, including veterans groups, the policy is meant to provide consistency and fairness to all." The Postal Service last week informed the Veterans Outreach Center in Rochester that it was no longer welcome to distribute flags on post office property for Flag Day in June, a time-honored practice that helped the organization raise money and its profile. That the Postal Service is enforcing the rule now has some poppy-peddling veterans seeing red, figuratively and literally. At the Rice-Holic Post, the poppy campaign accounts for the bulk of the Post's fundraising. This year, it was to be the only fundraiser, and the Jefferson Road Post Office the only staging ground. "We've been doing it for years and the people of Henrietta expect us there," said Daniel Lindsay, the Post's quartermaster and chairman of the poppy campaign. Last year, Lindsay said, the Post raised nearly $4,100 outside the post office and just $900 at Marketplace Mall, where the Post was required to buy liability insurance to set up shop. Donations go toward veterans in need, scholarships and youth activities. The Post pays for the poppies, which are assembled by hand by disabled veterans around the country and that National VFW sells for $100 per 1,000 units. Now Jakus has nearly 6,000 poppies in boxes in his garage that no one at the Post is sure how to distribute. Big box stores, which wrap themselves in red, white and blue this time of year, aren't as open to veterans' requests as they used to be, citing liability and a slippery slope that leaves them vulnerable to lawsuits from less worthy organizations. Let in the veterans, and the next thing you know XIVM comes knocking, their thinking goes. Some smaller businesses in Henrietta have invited the Riceaholic Post to use their premises, but finding volunteers to fan out is a problem. Like at other VFW posts, the members of Riceaholic are aging and not as mobile as they once were. "I've got 54 years of God and country in me," said Jakus, who served 28 years in the military and 26 years as a Rochester firefighter. "I'm just about done with the poppies. It's going to be up to you young people to work it out." David Andrietta is a Democrat and Chronicle columnist, where this column first appeared. You can follow him on Twitter, @David_Andrietta.